Palm Springs cluster of shows, and now we are down to 7 to choose from. This is going to be a very difficult decision.
Yeah, beautiful lineup of 7 very deserving group winners as we get the ring set up here for Best in Show, and then we'll welcome in our 7 group winners. But a very competitive day all afternoon and evening from over 2,600 down to our final 7.
If you're the handler of, say, Verde, the Welsh Terrier, what have you been doing over the last couple of hours? Because we just saw Georgia, the Bearded Collie, with a big group win. Probably a lot of energy and momentum there heading into Best in Show. Whereas we started the judging a couple of hours ago, what's the best way to sort of keep your dog, like Louis the Afghan Hound that we just saw come into the ring, ready for the big moment?
You know, each dog is so unique, right? So sometimes your dog does better with downtime and rest, which is probably the case for a lot of these dogs, but some dogs need to be sort of kept up and energetic a little bit more than others. Many of these are they're such seasoned show dogs that they're kind of ready to go whenever they're asked of it. Roberta Davies, our Best in Show judge from Brimfield, Massachusetts, has a beautiful lineup to sort through this evening.
And Judge Davies really hasn't been privy to too much of what's been going on in the group judging, right?
She probably has been ringside, watching throughout the afternoon. So she has quite likely seen some of these groups, may have judged some of these dogs over the last, maybe even earlier today if she judged some breeds.
We start with Louis the Afghan Hound, the top male Afghan hound in the history of the breed. Winner of Reserve Best in Show at the AKC National Championship presented by Royal Canin just a couple of weeks ago, back in December.
Yeah, just a astounding record for this dog, and all of his amazing wins, breaking the record for male Afghan hounds. Afghan hounds should have this gaze, right? They should stand there, look off into the distance, almost as if they're kind of looking through you. And you get a really great example with this dog. And here is the winner of the working group, the Portuguese water dog. This is Sunny, with handler Kim Calvaca. Multiple Best in Show winner, top-ranked Portuguese water dog last year. Best of breed winner at the Westminster Kennel Club.
And you'll see our judges going from one side to the other, just trying to fully survey everything that they're seeing, right? They feel the dog and they watch the dog on the move, get a look at how the dog stands.
Yeah, all critical, important details when you're evaluating each of these dogs. Here's the Golden Retriever who won the sporting group today. Corona.
This is Corona, who was described as a princess, but that who loves every minute of the show ring and time spent with the people that she loves.
Which is exactly how a Golden Retriever should be, right? They love to be with their people, like whether they're just a family companion or whether they're, you know, a hunting companion and a retriever for you. You know, they're working with their owners, and That's why they love to be with them.
Very nice. Here's Georgia, the bearded collie, who won the last group of the night, so is just in the ring and now back again.
Yeah, covered by that beautiful shaggy coat that helps protect the bearded collie from the cold, wet Scottish climate when they're out doing their herding work. The breed, underneath that shaggy coat, they are lean but athletic. They're very agile. They're known for having this beardy bounce, which we very often see in the show ring as well. You can kind of picture this breed, doing that herding work that they were bred to do. Georgia here is a multiple best in show winner with handler Susie Oliveira.
Always good to see the handlers relaxed and smiling. We always say their energy goes right down the leash, right to the dog. Here's Cole, the K-Sound.
The Kazan has that beautiful, distinctive, plush, dense coat. It's always this gray-black color pattern. They have that fox-like expression and face, those markings around their eyes that give them the appearance of wearing spectacles. They were barge dogs in the Netherlands. They get the nickname the Smiling Dutchman. Cole is 3 years old from Elbert, Colorado, with handler Jean Gauchat.
And there is Verde, the Welsh Terrier, our first dog selected to the Best in Show ring.
Welsh Terriers were originally bred to hunt badger, fox, and otter, so you can imagine the sort of tenacity and courage it takes to do that. They're one of the oldest terrier breeds. Always have this wiry black and tan coat.
Verde has a very impressive record in the show ring. Limited showings in 2024, but when he was in the ring, it usually ended pretty good.
Yeah, an amazing record last year, being shown on a much more limited basis than some of the other top show dogs, but when he was shown, it so often, almost always resulted in a group win, and very often resulted in a best in show win, and had a couple of huge best in show wins at the end of the year in Orlando, Florida, the week of the AKC National Championship. And here is
And our
Royce.
final competitor.
Yeah, Royce the
Royce
Havanese.
I tell you what, this is a formidable final 7. These are dogs that many people are already familiar with. There's some new faces, which is very exciting. But this is going to be a difficult decision for our judge. But that's how it should be at the largest show on the West Coast.
Yeah, when you start with 2,600 dogs on such a big weekend like this, where Not only is it big in terms of numbers, but the number of specialties held and the number of group shows and sort of the recognition of this weekend as a moment on the calendar where people descend on Palm Springs from all over the country. Of course, we're going to end up with 7 just exceptional, beautiful dogs. Just ask them to go one at a time around, again, individually. Starting with Louis the Afghan Hound. I don't know that anybody smiles more than Louis' handler, Alicia, when they're on the move.
But there is that showmanship quality for the handler too, right? I mean, you're really kind of putting on a show and hopefully spotlighting your dog so that they stand alone and everything else disappears.
Yeah, and that's well said. You want to disappear, right? And you just want your dog to shine. You want all the best qualities of your dog to shine. And still for it to be breed specific, right? So the Afghan's carriage with the, they have that high head carriage and that high tail carriage, that presence. That's going to be different than the bearded collie who we just saw. The bearded collie is a herding breed. They're going to drop their head a little bit more. They're going to get a little lower because they had to maneuver a little bit differently. The Welsh Terrier here is going to be kind of on his toes, looking around, super alert because he has all those terrier qualities. And so you want that showmanship, of course, but it manifests itself differently for each breed.
And each dog representing these breeds just perfectly executed what you were describing right on cue. It seems like our judge Roberta Davies has made up her mind, and now she'll go make it official by marking the book.
So when you judge best in show, you go and make your choices official. Go back to your judge's book to write down your choices for best in show and for reserve best in show. 2 awards are given out. So she'll come back out, award reserve best in show first, followed by best in show. So from over 2,600, we'll get down to 1 best in show winner.
Everybody is waiting very patiently. And here we go.
So reserve best in show awarded first. Goes to Sunny, the Portuguese water dog, with Kim Calvaca. Reserve best in show winner. Best in show to Louis the Afghan Hound.
Another best in show.
Another huge win for this dog and his remarkable record. The top winning male Afghan Hound already in the history of the breed. Over 80 best in show wins. Best in show tonight in Palm Springs, Carolyn.
And the good news is that we have more competition coming your way tomorrow from Indio, California. More than 2,500 entries are set for tomorrow's competition as part of the 2025 Kennel Club of Palm Springs cluster of dog shows. So be with us then, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, if you're streaming with us on AKC TV. A big congratulations to Louis, the Afghan Hound, a deserving champion for Best in Show tonight. For Bill Ellis, I'm Carolyn Mano, saying thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow evening right here on AKC TV.